At Clarke University, an NAIA school in Dubuque, men's lacrosse practice can get pretty chilly in March and April. You might think the one player wearing shorts is pretty tough, but take a closer look. You're about to find out how tough that player really is.
Well, if you would have asked me a year ago today if I could ever see myself playing on a college men's lacrosse team, I would not have said yes.
Let's go, Laney!
Laney Thumser doesn't stand out much under her lacrosse helmet, but in high school she stood out to Clarke head coach Tucker LaBelle.
I walked onto a lacrosse field here in Dubuque with the intention of coaching high school lacrosse. And lo and behold, I walked out there one day and said, there's a girl with a deep hole on the field. There's a girl playing defense against these guys, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize that she could more than hold her own.
Thumser is a woman, but she grew up playing lacrosse and hockey with 3 brothers.
I like the physicality of it. I didn't know the rules at first. My coach had just told me, hey, go out there and hit people. And I ended up being kind of good at it.
Thumser is also on the women's team at Clarke, a sport she'd never played before.
I had originally gotten a text from the women's coach, the former coach for Clarke, and he asked me if I wanted to play women's lacrosse. And I thought, well, I can do that anywhere. And then Tucker had came in and asked if I wanted to play on the men's team as well. Said he could pull some strings. And I was like, well, if I can keep playing the sport I love in college, then I'd 100% do that.
Men's and women's lacrosse are very different. There's almost no padding in the women's game, but a lot of contact in the men's game. Not a problem for Thumser, who's played with and against boys all her life.
Definitely growing up with 3 brothers, I've learned to take a hit or 2.
Not even close to a distraction. A huge add to our team. Keeps the guys in line a lot of the time, if I'm going to be honest with you. A high IQ player and somebody that will add to your roster right away. And, regardless of whether she's a man or a woman or anything, I mean, we wanted her on this team.
It's almost like a big group of brothers. They took me in, I assimilated really easily. They never really had a problem with it.
There were some hoops to jump through in order to get Thumser on both teams, but for LaBelle, it was well worth it.
There was zero hesitation for me. It was, hey, let me make a few calls, see how we're going to make this work. Did our due diligence. We went through with the NAI as our governing board, obviously, and we pretty much posed them the question, is this possible, and show us a reason why it's not possible. And we didn't come back with any reason saying we couldn't do it.
Well, I say usually that Tucker pulled all the strings. I didn't really have a hand in it other than saying that I'd come and play, and then they'd figure out all the rest.
Thumser says there's pressure playing on a field full of men, but all you have to do is watch her to know she's here to stay.
Well, I've made it here now, and now I have to prove it that I deserve to be here. I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome. I'd actually used the same term when talking to my brother about it. I was like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm glad I am.